You wake up to silence, not the peaceful kind, the kind that feels wrong. Your cheek is pressed against cold dirt, smoke lingers in the air, and the metallic taste of blood sits heavy in your mouth. You don't remember hitting the ground. You remember the explosion, the convoy, the ambush, and then nothing. So what actually happens when you're trapped behind enemy lines with no backup? This isn't just a combat scenario. It's the ultimate test of survival instinct. The first thing that changes is the game itself. You're no longer part of a unit. No squad, no command, no quick reaction force. Just isolation in combat. Your mission instantly shifts from success to survival. And in most cases, surrender isn't even a real option. Now the only objective left is simple: stay alive. Your body reacts before your mind does. The adrenaline response kicks in hard. Pain dulls, your senses sharpen, and time begins to stretch and compress in strange ways. But this boost comes with a cost: panic. If you don't control it, it controls you. This is where panic suppression becomes critical. Training overrides instinct, forcing you to act with discipline instead of fear. Because out here, hesitation gets you killed. Next comes resource evaluation. You check what you have left: limited ammunition, maybe one bullet, a rifle that still works, a combat knife, a broken radio, a half-used smoke grenade. This is pure resource scarcity. Every item becomes valuable. Every action carries weight. This is weapon discipline at its highest level. Because when you're down to one bullet, the bullet stops being just ammunition. It becomes a decision. Then there's the environment. You're deep in hostile territory, maybe in night combat, surrounded by dense forest or scattered battlefield debris. The cold starts to bite, your injuries slow you down, and exhaustion creeps in. This isn't just a fight against enemies anymore, it's a fight against the environment itself. And the environment doesn't hesitate. Survival now depends on situational awareness. You start reading the terrain carefully, looking for choke points, cover, and ways to break line of sight. Movement becomes calculated. You don't rush, you don't panic. Because survival isn't about speed, it's about patience. Every step is intentional, every sound matters. Then comes the real danger: enemy patrols. They're not chaotic, they're methodical, using trained infantry tactics to sweep the area. They expect survivors. They expect you. This creates constant tension. Every second becomes a decision. Do you hide? Do you move? Do you engage? These are life or death choices made in moments, driven by decision-making under pressure. Meanwhile, your body is reaching its limits. Blood loss weakens you. Pain builds. Your energy drains. This is where physical endurance meets mental resilience. Your body might want to stop, but your mind can't afford to. Eventually, you reach a turning point. Maybe it's an abandoned outpost, maybe it's higher ground, maybe it's just a place you can defend. You position yourself at a choke point. Now, the situation shifts from evasion to defense. And this is where that one bullet becomes everything. Because that bullet represents control, you can use it early, save it for a perfect moment, or hold on to it as a last resort. It becomes a symbol of choice in a situation that offers almost none. As long as you have it, you're not helpless. You still decide what happens next. Then everything changes. Gunfire echoes in the distance, but it's different. Controlled bursts, a familiar pattern. Friendly forces. The quick reaction force has arrived. This is the rescue moment, but it's not over yet. You still have to act. Timing becomes everything. Too early, and you expose yourself. Too late, and you're left behind. You fire the flare, the sky lights up, chaos follows. Friendly and enemy forces collide, and now it's a sprint. No more hiding, no more waiting, just pure survival instinct. You run through gunfire, through exhaustion, through everything your body is telling you to stop for. And if you make it, you get a second chance. But here's what most people miss. Survival was never really about the weapon. It wasn't about how much ammunition you had left, or how powerful your rifle was, or whether you could outgun the enemy. In a situation like this, firepower becomes secondary. What actually determines whether you make it out alive is something far less visible: control in chaos. Because chaos is overwhelming by design. It's loud, unpredictable, and relentless. It tries to break your focus, rush your decisions, and push you into reacting instead of thinking. And that's exactly where most people fail. They act too fast, shoot too early, move without thinking, and reveal themselves when they should have stayed still. But survival in this environment doesn't reward aggression. It rewards discipline. It's about discipline over impulse, the ability to hold your position when every instinct is screaming at you to run, the ability to keep your finger off the trigger when fear tells you to fire, the ability to stay silent, stay hidden, and stay patient, even when time feels like it's working against you. Because sometimes the best move is no move at all. It's also about patience over panic. Panic compresses your thinking. It turns complex decisions into rushed mistakes. But patience expands your awareness. It gives you time to read the situation, to notice patterns, to understand enemy movement, and to wait for the one moment where everything aligns in your favor. And in a last stand scenario, that one moment is often the difference between life and death. And above all, it's about thinking clearly when everything is falling apart. When you're injured, exhausted, alone, and surrounded, clarity becomes your greatest weapon. Not your rifle, not your gear, your mind. The ability to assess risk, adapt to changing conditions, and make decisions under pressure without losing control. That's survival psychology at its peak, because the soldier mindset isn't about winning every fight. It's not about charging forward or proving strength. It's about understanding the situation well enough to choose your battles wisely, knowing when to engage, when to evade, and when to disappear entirely. Sometimes the strongest move isn't fighting, it's surviving long enough to fight another day. And that's where the deeper meaning comes in. That one bullet you carried, it was never just ammunition. It was control. It was a reminder that even in the worst possible situation, you still had a choice. You weren't completely powerless. You weren't just reacting. You were deciding. And that changes how you think, how you move, and how you survive. Because sometimes, survival isn't about pulling the trigger, it's about choosing not to. You were trapped behind enemy lines, with no backup, one bullet left, and every reason to panic. But you didn't. You controlled the moment. You trusted your training. You chose patience over fear, and discipline over instinct. And in the end, you didn't just survive the battlefield, you survived yourself. If you like this kind of immersive storytelling and breakdown, do us a favor. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next.